Hello and welcome. I am the Imperishable. On today's episode, I am talking about the Twin Sentinel Grand Tournament that happened back in June. This is one of the earliest kind of GTs. As I say, it came out 4 months. It happened 4 months after the release of Old World, because the Old World happened in late Jan, early Feb, and June was 4 months later. I say it was one of the early kind of GTs. It gave us people enough time to kind of just play the game, learn the rules, ask questions, find what they like, and straight into it. It was a great run event hosted by Chris and Luke, who you probably obviously know as Dr. Luke on the YouTubes. It was, as I say, a fantastic run. The comp came out bang on time. I think it came out about March time. Kept on updating the FAQ. It was really good. And something what I didn't know about kind of until a bit later, just before the tournament, they brought in missions. Very much their 8th eds and 9th age kind of players, so they brought in those missions, had a good chat after them about it, and thinking that maybe the -4, +4 was big swing, so it kind of now looks like kind of the tournaments coming up, such as the Welsh Open, there's the Black County tournament coming up that's also using kind of missions now. This was looking like more of a 3 tournament point swing. It was a great tournament overall. As I say, I went there just to have a bit of fun, so I didn't take any photos because I was just there to enjoy myself. But I did come away with the win. I played 5 great games versus 5 great opponents. So in this video, I'm going to break down the tournament pack, break down my list, and have a chat about the games, what I can remember, and the types of missions, what it can open up. As I say, it was a really good tournament, and I just really enjoyed it. So I just wanted to give you my experience. That's kind of why I'm pushed myself towards kind of Tomb Kings channel, because Tomb Kings, I love them, and I think they can be really good. So let's have a look at the mission pack, and then let's have a look at my list. So the first thing to talk about kind of before we get into actually the missions or anything big like that is just the unit scoring. So there was a big kind of push to kind of secondary objectives. They talked about what units were scoring, and so you had to kind of bring them in. They weren't major, okay? They were very clear cut. So kind of the first thing is, so units are considered scoring, okay? So you have to be infantry units with 10 or more models and a unit standard. It's what it starts with. So if you go down to the 2 people, there's 1 line here missing, it's still a scoring unit, even if you have just the model, a champion, and the unit standard bearer, or just the unit standard bearer. Until the unit standard bearer dies, it is still a scoring unit, which I thought was really good, because it kind of meant I could build these scoring units that could potentially last, and they don't have to be so durable. But I think this came a bit of an issue. My last game, I played someone who brought 6 10-man units of men-at-arms with a banner, and he played the missions fantastically. It was just a great game. It was just, I knew as soon as we started, I've lost the mission, because I only had 2 scoring units, and he just gonna ruin me. Cavalry units with 5 or more units, and his unit standard bearer. Monsters infantry with 3 models and a unit standard bearer. Monster cavalry unit with 3 models and a unit standard bearer. Units with fast cap special rule must have 10 models. It's going to stop those fast models and a unit standard bearer. Chariot units that start with 3 models and a unit standard bearer. So it's basically the units that score. Things that don't, well, like characters, monsters, units that are fleeing, stuff with the fly special rule, and your BSB doesn't count as your standard bearer. So that's the kind of scoring. And when we go into the missions, after we just talk about my list, we'll see the kind of stuff that kind of why it matters and why it could be the most of the swing. As I said, it is 4 victory points swap either way. So it's an 8-point swing. So the maximum you can get is 16-4 if you guys draw the mission, but it can swing to that 20-0, or as you say, 12-8, even if you are lost to everyone. So let's have a look at my lists. Let's have a talk about why I took what. Let's get going. So I took a Mortuary cult list. Okay, this isn't what I would say is my best Mortuary cult list. There were definitely some things that needed to change. Obviously with the comp, I took certain things, as we'll see with my Skeleton Warriors, but I didn't take them efficiently. I wish since LGT, chatted to some more top players, kind of refined certain things. So starting off, I've got 2 level 4s, both with necromancy. So I went down the Terror, the Making You Panic, and Casket route. I was like, I'm going Casket, it's how I'm going to kill everything. That was my kind of idea. And I find Necromancy has some really good spells. They have the kind of, obviously, Unquiet Spirits, and it's a really strong spell, and it felt like I thought there'll be lots of Brett's players and lots of Tomb King players. So this kind of worked out quite well, my idea. But surprisingly, we didn't see that many Brett players, I thought. Actually, I only played 1 in the final game. So I say I've got 2 Necromancy. One of them's got the Earthing Roll and Cloak of Dunes, because Earthing Roll is just, if I roll and miscast, that's how I'm going to end my game. Even early on, I knew that. I'm a big fan of kind of Cloak of Dunes, Flying Carpet for a level 4, because the idea how I play them is I jump them forward, shoot my spells, chuck out my Spiritual Vortex, and jump back. I then have a level 4 with Illusion Lore Familiar. As I say, my kind of change now is I make this a level 2, who's a BSB with Lore Familiar, because I say 2 spells I really care about are Miasmic Mirage and Column of Crystal. Obviously, people are getting used to kind of dealing with magic, so potentially not anymore. So, they are my characters. Okay, into my core, I've got 2 units of 18 Scares and Warriors. These are my scoring units. They've got a Champion and Standing Bearer. That's it. 82 points each. Into the heart of kind of the things I love the most, Ushabti, a unit 4 Great Bows, 5 Tomb Swarms, obviously being our lovely battery, and then 2 units of Skeleton Horse Archers. Into special, I have 2 Tomb Scorpions, 1 has Ambush and Terror's Blow, because I had 2 points spare, so I thought, maybe to snipe an opposing Lich Priest in case they are on foot with the Flying Carpet, etc. And another unit for Ushabti. I went for 8 Ushabti is loads, no one can deal with it. But I have played once recently with 13 Bow Ushabti, and that is good fun. I then have double casket and a single Screaming Skull. Screaming Skull with obviously the skulls of the foe. So that's kind of what it is. As I say, what I'm going for is that Terror, leadership debuff, caskets doing all the damage. Because at this point early on, I was like, caskets are so hard to beat. Yes, it's only about level 3, but even at level 4, they have to roll the same as you. So if I roll a 10, it's just on chance, basically. It's a 50-50 who wins. So I'd say I've killed loads of stuff with them. They're great targets. Because Ushabti can bring down anything. So it's really good to see. So that's the list. Let's go into the games and have a kind of quick debrief about what happened, what are the verses, kind of what the mission was and how we had to play it. Okay, mission 1, Counter Thrust. So this was a kind of different deployment than we usually dealt with. So we're 16 inches apart. We can only deploy 8 inches away from the centre line. However, if I drop a unit, the opponent unit had to be dropped to kind of 20 inches away. We have to drop units for the first 3 turns, kind of thing. We have to kind of make sure we put down our big blocks. Okay. I'd say we can use Scout as normal kind of thing. So the secondary mission for this one was pick a terrain feature that isn't impassable. At the end of your turn, if a scoring unit is in it, you hold the objective. So I played Brian in this game. He was running demons, kind of mixed demons. He had a big bloodthirster. He had loads of furies coming into me. He was a lovely person, really nice guy. Unfortunately, obviously, I was playing like a big magic build. And obviously, Unquiet Spirits, Light of Death from the caskets really hurts them because they obviously just don't get a save of any type because they don't get their award save. So this was kind of a game that we kind of, from the start, we kind of knew what was happening. It was a bit of a bad matchup, but it was really good fun. We chatted, we played really well. He got some really unlucky dice because he tried to get his spells off, and he was playing with like level 3s or +3 bound spell with the Zeech kind of core unit, blue fires with Zeech, and it just wasn't going off. So it was just a bad day at the office. He killed some of my guys. I just rezzed them. It was a bad draw. As I say, it was a 20-0. I killed basically his entire army. I think bar 1 set of units, and I did hold the objective as well. So it was it was an unlucky kind of matchup there, but it was a win to the Tomb Kings, and it was a really good start to the tournament. It was really kind of showing the kind of the level, the niceness of the tournament. So everyone was really nice, everyone was chatty, everyone was having fun, drinking. It was just really good tournament. It was just a good start us off. On to game 2, Dawn Assault. So this kind of deployment, we're in corners, and we've each got like a 18-inch kind of board part where we can't deploy in our deployment. We're still 12 inches away from the centre line. But a big thing about this deployment, I thought was really cool, is that you could put stuff into ambush that didn't have ambush, but then they had to come on kind of your border edges. So if I was the dark purple, I could come on this side from turn 2. It's one of the same rules of things, but they have to be placed on this edge. Likewise, I could put a unit here and go forward. However, me and Ben played this game. This was the one kind of practice mission that I played on. And we played it once. We played it twice. The first game only lasted like 20 minutes. So he put a big unit of Peg Knights in ambush. I realised, well, they have to come this board. They have to play as normal ambushes. I just put my Scarce and Horse Archers in a line. And he couldn't bring on 1,000 points of his army. And I would have just won the game like that. And we were just like, this is ridiculous. How can he do that? So we stopped it there. We re-racked. He goes, I'm not going to put him in an ambush because you can stop it. But it was a good thing to learn. And in there, the secondary mission for this one is breakthrough. So it's just get as many scoring units into your opponent's deployment. Person with the most scoring units wins. So I played Rob, owner of Firestorm. Really great guy. I've played him quite a lot recently. I've seen to play him every tournament. And he seems to tell me to F off basically every tournament. I played, he was playing Chaos Dwarves. And we were setting up. He was putting stuff kind of on the line. I was setting up in my corner, ready just to kill him off and then rush for the objective. And I think it was about turn 1, because I got first turn. I was like, brilliant, I could shoot off his side and stuff. I think by turn 2, I killed his Iron Demon. I'd killed off his Centurions. My Scarce and Horse Archers was running around shooting. And I think it was at that point he just went, I can't win this. There is no way I can win this. And he went, oh, the only way I can stop you is kind of to win the mission, push you back, draw the mission kind of thing. But I Mirage to his big blob of Chaos Dwarfs, which he wanted to get into the deployment. So he could only go 1.5 inches, and he couldn't wheel him far enough, so he couldn't get in. So I think it was about turn 4. He just said, okay, you called it. You gave me the points. So it was once again another 20-0. I'd say it was a horrible matchup, and this is where I've learned to just accept that if I'm playing a dickish army, just accept it. Because I kept saying, sorry, I'm really sorry. And he just told me, shut up, mate. You're a dick, and just own it. It was a great game. We've played since, and I'd say this tournament I've definitely made some mates for life, and I've really enjoyed it. I'd say this game 2 versus Chaos Dwarves, it basically went as game 1. I just castled up, I just shot everything. He couldn't stop my magic missiles because 36-inch range. I chucked out my spiritual vortexes and spirit leeches, and it was just insta-killing stuff with leadership 1, leadership like 5 from the caskets, from the spirit leech and spiritual vortexes. So I think I killed off his Sorcerer Prophet quite easily with once again a casket of souls. But it was a great game. As I say, it ended quite quickly. We had a nice chat about it, talked about it. But no, let's say another 20-0 victory for the Tomb Kings. So game 3. So this game was a bit weird. So someone messed up and putting scores in. So when it went to the kind of selection of scores, so obviously they were trying to play closest to play each other. But everyone got a game but me. So I got given just someone random, and it was against Jay. He's a lovely bloke. He had such a fun, amazing army. He had a Night Goblin army, proper Night Goblins, Trolls, Magnus Swig, something to see out of Total War. And I thought it was brilliant. And this was basically hold the ground. So get something that's close, scoring unit as close to the centre as possible. And I basically just blocked him. I just put my Colin McChrystal, I just shot him off, pushed him back. It was a bad matchup, and I felt so bad for the guy, for Jay. But he's a lovely opponent. He was smiling all throughout. We had a great laugh, just talking about it. And as I say, I loved his army. He played kind of a one big brick of shooting Night Goblins. I think this is before kind of this all poison block. So, you know, it's before the meta. Couple Mangless Squids, Wolf Riders. You had Ogrettes with a Troll Hag and Trolls. I thought this was just such a cool and fun army to play. But unfortunately, it just wasn't the best matchup for him. He's probably Trolls on one side. They just took all game to get up to us. I killed basically everything else, and then I just broke down the rest of his army. I made his big unit of Night Goblins flee. I think they fled off the board because I just low leadership and just bombed them with live death, shooting, everything really, and they just crumbled. And I just had my scoring units just sat in the centre, able to hold. So I'd say it was once again another 20-0, but I'd say it was probably a bad matchup and it shouldn't have been the matchup. It should have been kind of redrawn and I played someone else. I was chatting to Richie, who was at the tournament, and Ed Milton, who goes to quite a few of the tournaments locally here. And we were both agreeing, like, yeah, it was a bad matchup. And potentially we'll figure out who's going to play who in the next game. And after this game, I did get to play Richie in game 4. So game 4, I was up against Richie Dwarves. He was a really nice guy. As I say, first time I met him, didn't really know about him, and I proper, like, if you've seen him, he looks terrifying. He's got all these great tattoos, big beard, blah blah blah. But he was the nicest guy probably at the tournament. He just talks so nice. He's never puts anyone down. He chats really well. But as I say, we played obviously the mission against each other. It was a really just great game. We kind of talked to each other's list. We talked about big things that could go wrong against each other, and we talked about a few tactics before the game. So we're talking about how catapults, we could spin them, we can hide them turn 1, spin and touch for us turn 2, and start firing and kind of protect ourselves. He's talked to me about his kind of unstoppable stone thrower that can kind of one-shot everything. I was really scared about this, but I think he got unlucky. I think it blew up. He brought an organ gun, he brought his iron drakes, he brought a big warrior, a unit of warriors, because he was like, it's the only way to play dwarves with these warriors, and it was a very scary block. We both talked, and we both agreed that with our scoring units, we're just going to have to try and our best get into each other. I was kind of, at this point, I was like, I'm 3-0, never won a GT, let's try and go sweat mode. But he was like, let's just have some fun. Because if he gets to me with this big unit, even with just these Thane on a shield bearers, he's gonna mess me up, basically. So on this mission, it's kind of in circle. We've had a look at this with the Welsh Open, talking about this is kind of this head of the snake one, where we have a defender who can deploy up here and the attackers are going down the flanks. The secondary mission on this one was basically just destroy your opponent's scoring unit. So we both had 2, we both agreed at that point, let's just keep the 2, just because we could snipe something else and it'd be a bit pointless. We have to kill our big kind of bricks that we have. So as I said, I was all there, a bit kind of nervous, sweaty. He's coming forward into me. He, as he said, played towards me. So he moved up this warrior brick. I marked miraged it. I was shooting it to no end. I was picking off a few ranges here and there. I was bombarding. He told me something I didn't even realise. So with the Scream's Go, obviously, if you wound something, it will make something do a leadership test. So he made sure he got the immune psychology buff up early to kind of stop that. He didn't want to lose turn 1, lose something off if it lost the wounds. And so he came up with his warrior blocks. I just marked and miraged it every turn because he didn't have any rune of spell breaking. It's just more coming. I just kept shooting and shooting and shooting and trying to get his leadership down, casting them as much as I can. And it got to a point where I did kill this warrior block, and because that gave up a scoring unit, we were both like, well, he can't win. He's killed the scoring block. There's like 2 turns left. He just won't make it in time. So we called it there. So like victory points wise, only killed 400 points, and he killed 162, 170 points. But because of the mission, I won it a 14-6. I think maybe technically if we carried on, I could have killed his Thane. That was like 300 points and started picking everything off. But at that point, it didn't really matter. We kind of accepted it, that's what it was. But I say it was lovely to meet Richie. He's a great guy. His YouTube channel was really great. He is a fantastic player, and he made probably my first proper fantasy tournament a really good experience. We talked loads. We talked about kind of the England setup, LGT, other big tournaments, ways to play, and how he was a bit surprised with everyone's list, because he thought this was meant to be kind of like a bit of a newbie kind of setup, because it was just loads of people local doing it, but it was the first kind of big tournament. So he took this kind of not what you usually would take, and obviously with the missions he has to kind of play a bit more coming at you. But he was talking me through kind of how he can have a big unit of warriors behind, big unit of Iron Drakes, stand and shoot, get a load of combat res. Even if he loses combat, stubborn, fall back in good order behind, and then he's into the warriors unit, they can really just mess up. And I thought it was really good. I say he's really smart on his Warhammer, he knows what he's doing. But yeah, I say great game 4. Now I'm at this point 4-0. I kind of went into this tournament thinking what I want to do is just get top Tomb King player, because I was like, that would be a really nice kind of achievement. There was actually only one other Tomb Kings player, and it got to like the last game, and I think I worked out, and I just needed like 5 tournament points. So I don't even need to win, and that's if the guy got 20-0. But yeah, I'd say great game versus Richie, and we're into the final game. So, into the final game. I was up versus Adam, a fantastic player. And at the start of play, I was a bit like wary about, it's going to be really precise on time. He had a clock on his watch that he didn't tell me about, blah, blah, blah. But when we got into the game, it did kind of relax a bit. There was one kind of major pivotal swing that kind of caused the issue. So, Review's flank, it's got the kind of setup from meeting engagement, but there's none of this roll to see what comes in, etc. Big thing here is there are 2 tokens that we place down, okay? And it's whoever holds the most of these tokens at the end of the game wins. So Adam brought a fantastic Breathless. He had no magic. He had a single Fated Dispel, so I was like, I'm in a good spell here. I can get all my magic off. He did obviously have, he had 2 Pegasus kind of units. He had 2 big Pegasus characters. He had the Falcon Horn. He had some units of knights kind of come forward, a bit of everything. But the big thing he had, and which I thought was so smart, and he's a really big AOS player, but something I thought he did really clever, and it shows that he's a really good wargamer. He's got 10-man with a banner, men-at-arms blobs. And how he deployed them was fantastic. He just deployed them back. He was going to kill everything with his flying buses and then just take the objective with these little things. That's how he got to this kind of position. And with it, he's got 6 units that can score in a marching column that can go 12 inches on his turn and just ping up kind of thing. So he got to deploy first and chuck down things, the objectives. So they were in a great position for him. And I kind of accepted that I'd lost the mission. So I was like, okay, I've got to win by X amount of points. I've got to win by 14-6. So I needed quite a lot of points to get that. So in this game, he was really contemplating whether to take the knee or not, because I couldn't screen out this forest enough to stop his Green Knight coming in. And it was big, like, if he goes first turn, he can drop the Green Knight and really get into eyes. And he's like, but is the ward save worth it? He ummed and ahed for about 5-10 minutes on this, genuinely. But he did kneel. I blocked it off with a column of crystal. I blocked it off with some Skeleton Horse Archers. So I did stop it for a couple of turns. Just throughout the game, it was just popping off a few Peg Knights here, using my Skeleton Horse Archers to block kind of line of sight. So you can't charge them, you can only charge my Skeleton Horse Archers. But a big thing, this is why so he had these 3 unit, a Grail unit, the Grail Knight unit, I think was like 4 or 5 strong, or he might have even only been 3. They went down the side, they got into me, cleared off this kind of ploughed field, so we played it as difficult to technically come in. He comes in, this Green Knight, okay, he's got a go turn here, alright, I am bricking it, okay. He's declared the Green Knight into the casket. He thinks, if I can get rid of that casket, he can just run rings and he'll clear everything in the backfield, simple as. He had either that choice, or he had this Tomb Scorpion going, he could easily kill, but he thought, if I hit that, it's kind of game over. He also had these, the Grail Knights that could go into a unit of your Shabdi, and I was like, oh, I stand shot, I think I didn't kill any of them. So it was big. So he had to roll Green Knight. It was like, it wasn't that far away. I think it was 14 inches away kind of thing. Was it less? It might have been 30. So he needed a 5. And he declared it. He rolled his dice. He rolled a 1. Because I'll go 3 roll. I was like, it doesn't have the Bretonnian Warhorse. Because it's like Spectral Steed or whatever. Because you're right. I'll go for Swiss Stride. I'm like, he also doesn't have Swiss Stride. And he's just failed this charge. And it was honestly, it was at that moment, Adam just changed his turn. He's like, well, this game's gone. Because I had my level 4 illusion, and I just was like, Miles Mirage, Miles Mirage, Miles Mirage. So he didn't do anything this entire game. His Grail Knights, so let's see if I can clear off these Shabdi. Failed the charge because he was in difficult terrain, so he took the lowest dice. I think he rolled 2 1s, re-rolled him, got like a 2 and a 1 again. So he literally couldn't get into me. And at that point, I was just clearing things off. So I cleared off all these Peg Knights, I cleared off the Grail Knights. I didn't obviously kill the Green Knight, because I just kept Miles Miraging it. I was like, I don't care about this unit anymore. I just slowly plinked off. So points wise, I won by over 1,000 points. Henry killed 338. I think he killed a couple of Skeleton Horse Archers, a Tomb Scorpion. I think he killed, I don't remember what else he killed. I think, you got my Scream Skull Catapult, because I think it blew up. But because he played the mission so well, so I won 13-7. But he won the mission, so he actually won 11-9. So overall, it was a really kind of like close game. I'd say I think what lost him the game was the Green Knight not getting in, because he would have one-shot everything, because it meant I had 2 caskets just available to just shoot. So I was clearing off things. So I'd say I think I got my casket of souls into his peg knights, and I just obliterated a unit just like that. Cleared off his knights. The only thing that was really left, he had 1 paladin back doing the Falcon Horn, and all these kind of men-at-arms blobs who were just moving up 12 and nabbing the objective. And he got to a position where he blocked me, so I couldn't get in with my Skeleton Warriors. There was no way I could get on the objective. And it was like final turn, I was like, let me have a go at trying to kill off this Green Knight and see if it before it comes back. I miscast straight away, and it was, I think, my only miscast of the tournament. It was in that final time where it didn't really matter because he could only kill 1 more thing. At that point, points-wise, I already won. But I say he won the mission, so he won 11-9. So that was the Twin Sentinels Grand Tournament. It was a fantastic tournament run by these 2 lovely lads, who made it a really kind of good experience and kind of first tournament in this kind of scene for me. I say I've come from 40k, but this has definitely become my bread and butter, and it's the thing I kind of really am passionate about. So I came away with 90 tournament points, this including some painting points, which I did say you should probably take away, because I'm not the fully painted Tomb King's army, but they were kind enough to just give them. So I came with 4 wins and a loss, and the only loss came through because the guy had a fantastic way to play and win all the missions. So I thought he played really well, Adam. But overall, it's just a really good tournament. It was kind of my first showing with the Tomb Kings. We'll go in the Mortuary Cult, just shows how really strong they are. Because in the Magic, I was just dominated. At range, dominated. I just played it a bit like 40k and just started shooting everything in front of me. But yeah, I learned a lot in that tournament. As I say, I met some great people. I've refined my tournament, my kind of Tomb Kings list. But it was really kind of great. So that's how I won my first GT. Currently my only one. But hopefully I can kind of do the same at the Welsh Open with these kind of missions. I enjoy kind of making the list tailored to it. So kind of I'm looking at kind of running a triple Necrosphinx list at the moment. It's kind of what I'm practicing with some scoring units that are just quite tough and strong. And we will see how that goes. Thanks for watching. I'd say this was the Twin Sentinels Grand Tournament. It was a really good tournament. I met some amazing people, played some really great games, learned a lot. And I'd say, sorry about the no photos. This is all before kind of my idea of playing, the idea of doing YouTube. So it's the unfortunately no photos there. And the reason why I wanted to do is just to kind of show off kind of my expertise with the Tomb Kings and show that I am competent with them, and the idea of how we can play them well. I say I think Mortuary Cult is probably the strongest way of playing the Tomb Kings. Yes, there's kind of the rise of the Royal Host with these big archer blocks, but I'd say there are some really big tournaments coming out. We've got the Welsh Open on the 1st and 2nd of Feb, but there are limitations to kind of these big bricks where we can't really use them as well, or max wizard level, so and there are these objectives, so it will kind of skew them more than I'm just here to kill you and not get killed. There are going to be these mission plays that will kind of swing your thing, which I'm really excited about, and I really do like these kind of missions added to them. Going forward on the channel, we've got some chats with some fantastic Tomb Kings players. We've got Andy, who won the latest square-based tournament with his Mortuary Cult that ran a kind of big brick of Poison Archer, so we'll be talking about the Poison Archer blob. I also have a chat with the top player over in Germany who came 3rd in the WTC that recently happened with Tomb Kings, Freddie. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I might have some stuff from America. So watch this space and let's see how the Tomb Kings are doing at the moment. Ta-ra!